Welcome to today's session. My name is Lola Femi, and it is a pleasure to have you here with me. I am your host for today's session, and one thing I can tell you is that I am super thrilled that you made out the time for this. Now, why am I thrilled that you did? I know that we all have very busy lives, especially for those of us who maybe get paid hourly. For you to take out 1 hour, 2 hours of your time just to listen to what I have to say or what we at 10 Analytics have to say is truly an honor. Now, today's session is all about solving what I would call a real and frustrating problem that a lot of people, most likely here on this call, currently face. It is a problem that keeps some people up late at night. We'll be talking about how you can gain experience that is required for you to position yourself for a job in UK, in US, and in Canada. Now, if you've been applying for a job in these regions, then you know just how competitive the market is. It is not enough for you to send out a good resume. It is not enough for you to optimize your LinkedIn. And we're going to be going into all of the things that you need to have put together in order for you to be successful in the job market. I mean, for example, if you're like some of the people that we work with, then you're stuck in this loop where you apply for jobs and your major blocker is we need someone with experience. However, how are you going to get that experience if no one is willing to give you a chance in the first place, especially if you've never had a job in tech and this is your first time and you're just looking for that big break that can open all the doors that you need for you? You apply for entry-level positions and they're saying they want 2 to 3 years of experience. You apply for junior roles and they're asking for 4 to 5 years experience. It makes no sense. And this is why you see a lot of people just settle in roles that do not make them happy, roles that do not fulfill them, and they lose sight of what their original dream was. But I want you to keep this in mind, guys. While everyone is complaining about the broken system, there are a group of smart people who are learning how to work around that system. They are learning how to use the resources and the tools that are already available to them to get to where they need to be. So here's what I want you to know for certain. By the end of this session, you're going to know exactly, just exactly how you can gain relevant, recognized, and job-winning experience. And it doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch, if you're switching careers in the tech world, or if you're applying from outside the UK, the US, or Canada. Now, before we dive in, I've got a quick ask. If you have a friend who is stuck in the job hunting cycle or the job hunting limbo, you know that one who keeps talking about, oh, I want to get a job in tech, I want to get a job in tech, but they never actually do anything about it. Or maybe they actually are, but nothing is working. Then please send them this link. So even if they show up halfway through, one thing I can guarantee you is that it's going to be a game changer for them. Also, please make sure to fill out the attendance form that my team will be dropping in the chat throughout the duration of this masterclass. That's how you're going to get access to the replay of this session and any free guides that we put together. Now, before we dig into how you can game the system, let's please drop our names and our locations in the chat. I love to meet new people and I would love to know where you are joining us from. Please drop your name and your location in the chat. Okay, Annie's from UK, nice to meet you. Okay, yes, Bolanle from Port Harcourt, nice to meet you. Okay, Oreolua from Lagos, nice to meet you. Anthony from Dublin, great that you could make it. Adania from UK, Blessing from Canada, Ruth from Lagos, Collins from Cambridge in the UK. It's great to have all of you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I really, really love just how global this room is. It tells me that you're serious about making this change. So, no matter where you are starting from, I want you to keep this in mind as we go forward. It is possible for you. And also, one thing I would like you to note here is just look at what tech is doing right now. It is capable of connecting people from different locations. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. So long as you have access to internet, you could be one of those people sharing your breakthrough stories on LinkedIn very soon, talking about how 10 Analytics helped you land a high paying job. So if this all sounds good to you, let's dive into today's session. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. All right. Now, if this is your first time joining us, and maybe your first time hearing about Analytics, if you were sent this link, you're probably wondering, who are these people? What exactly do they do at 10 Analytics? And why should I even care? I'm here to answer that question for you. Now, you see, there are a lot of edtechs around the world. And when you were on your journey to 10 Analytics, you probably came across a few of them. And you're wondering which is the best move for your career. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you that you can take to the bank is that 10 Analytics is 100% driven and powered by community. What do I mean by that? We have an in-house philosophy where we believe that nobody, absolutely nobody, walks alone. As a matter of fact, over 70% of our participants in our cohorts come from referrals. I mean, most of these people on this call were referred by others. These are people who have passed through our walls and are now looking behind them and looking to empower their family and their friends, and they're introducing them to 10 Analytics. As we go on, I'm also going to share some testimonials of people who found Analytics just through referrals. And if this was not a business where we delivered on our promise, things like that would not be possible. So while we are not the only ones playing in this field, I can guarantee you that we are the only ones who would give you value for your money. There are a lot of platforms, but many of them are passive. Nobody pushes you to grow, to step out of your shell, to do the things that actually scare you. You're simply handed a curriculum and a couple of videos to watch within a specific timeline. I mean, sure, you learn the skills, but is that enough for you to get a job? Just learning the skills, you get a fancy certificate, but in today's world, nobody cares if you have a certificate from Harvard. For businesses, all they're concerned about is, I need to make money. So, can you prove that you are the right candidate with the right skills? That's the question. So, at 10 Analytics, we don't train people just for the sake of it. We train people to get hired. And companies aren't hiring just for knowledge, they're hiring for readiness. And that is just how ready you are and how you can deliver on the job. That's where we come in. And that's how we say to ourselves that this was a success by the number of people who learn with us, apply what they have learned consistently, and then get the results that they are looking for. Now, guys, this is very important, so I need you to stay with me. In the last 5 years, we've helped over 3,000 people land roles. And I'm talking people just like you. They had no tech background, they had no coding experience. Some of them were carers, some of them were students, some of them were stay-at-home parents. And today they work at places like the NHS, they work at Deloitte, they work at Amazon and other Silicon Valley startups. Many of them now earn 80K with full visa sponsorships. And they didn't start with special connections. This was zero nepotism. They started here, sitting in the same position that you are right now and thinking the same things that you probably are. So, my question to you, or your question for us, is probably, what makes us different? Why are our numbers so high? And how have we consistently managed this feat over and over again? Well, it's very simple, actually. We don't offer 20 courses to chase profits. What we do is laser focus on 8 programs that leads directly to visa eligible high salary roles in 2025. And I'm going to be walking you through details on these courses as we go along. But I'm talking, courses like business analysis, data scientist, etc. These are roles that employers are desperate to fill. These are roles with high paying salaries. So long as you position yourself right, you will never run out of options. And why do we do this? We do this because we are outcome obsessed. So we only teach what converts globally. Now, let's talk about our instructors. There are people who've done it at the highest level, and I'm talking from Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey, and more. And if you let us, we will give you the blueprints that will make you a force to be reckoned with in the job market. So, if you're thinking now, hey, this might be for me, then you're in the right place. If you're still skeptical, don't worry, stay with me, and we will deconstruct that doubt together. So let's go on and see just how 10 Analytics can plug you directly into the pipeline of successful stories that you can find when you go on our YouTube page, for example, by providing you with projects, mentorship, and real job placement support. Like I said, nobody in 10 Analytics walks alone. So now I'm sure you're probably thinking at this point, who is Lola and why does Lola think that she's qualified to talk to me about moving to tech? Well, my name is Lola Femi, and I am the VP of Operations and Execution here at 10 Analytics. And prior to that, I've spent the last 10 years building, scaling, and fixing tech products in some of the toughest markets across fintech, govtech, SaaS, in continents like Africa and in Europe as well. So you can always hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to connect. Just search for Lola Femi and you can holler at me. However, we are not here to talk about me. What you want to know is why I'm in the best position to talk to you about the next phase of your career. Now, I have a very strong background in driving growth in tough markets and in spaces where execution makes or breaks everything. My personal philosophy is, and it also applies in this scenario, great ideas go to die at the execution stage. I'm going to repeat that again. Great ideas go to die at the execution stage. So, what does that mean? You want to move abroad. Fantastic idea. You want a better job. You want better income. You want better positioning. You're in the UK. You're in Canada. You're already there. You're looking for jobs, but you're not getting it. So now you're thinking about, oh, let me move into tech since it's one of the hottest industries in the world right now. Also a fantastic idea, but that doesn't get you paid. Your execution is what gets you paid. The investment you have to make in yourself in order to make this a possibility is where your execution will either break or make you. If you are unable to follow through aggressively, to follow your execution with aggressive implementation, it would keep you in the same spot for years to come. So let me put this into perspective for you. I'm sure everyone on this call knows Facebook, right? Do you think that Zuckerberg was the first person with an idea like Facebook? Nah. So before Zuckerberg launched Facebook, MySpace was a thing. They had users, they were popular, but Facebook came in and they executed harder, cleaner, more obsessively. They had better products, they had better positioning, and they had a better growth playbook. Now, that's what makes the difference. It wasn't just about the idea, it was about how it was built, how it was scaled, and how that was applied over and over again. And that's what we're doing today. Today, we're here because we want to get you out of that idea mode and into action. Because believe me, once that flips, everything else moves. Now, before we move on, I just want to quickly touch on one of the reasons why I really love 10 Analytics and what actually led me to join 10 Analytics. I've shared this story before, so if you've been in my previous session, then you probably must have heard this. It's about one of my closest friends, Ada, who was a HR manager in Nigeria. She used the exact model we're going to walk through today, and it worked for her. So a year into living in Canada, she was working a care job where she knew that her talent and her skills was not being optimized. She felt discouraged, she felt disheartened because she had grander plans for herself, but nothing was materializing. For those of us who have moved from our home country to a new country, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. You move not because you enjoy it, but because it's a move that you have to make. And by the time you do this, you already have grand plans that you have set out for yourself, and Ada was the same. However, nothing was materializing. Instead, she would apply to jobs, and in the morning, she would wake up to lots of rejections. Everyone kept saying things like, oh, you don't have local experience. You need to go back to school in Canada. This is someone who worked as a HR professional in Nigeria. She had nearly a decade of experience under her belt, optimizing employee experience for hundreds of people. So how do you go from that to care? However, luckily for Ada, her story did not end there. Within 5 months of making a bold move to join Analytics HR analytics program, she went from care job in Canada to final rounds with Deloitte and an 80K offer. And I remember when she got her offer, it was her first call. She called me first before she called anybody, before she called her mentor. I was the first person she called. And she said, I'm finally who I came here to be, and I am so happy. And at that moment, it just hit me that this is not just a business that's about, oh, so we're positioning for you to get this job and blah, blah. We're in the business of changing lives. That was my first encounter with 10 Analytics, and it's why I am so passionate about what we do here. So, how did Ada accomplish this? What exactly did 10 Analytics teach her that she did not know before? She learned that her past experience did matter. She just wasn't framing it right. She learns that she could rebuild her resume and her LinkedIn to frame her Nigerian experience as global experience. And then she also learned the tools required for her to build a strong portfolio, something tangible that she could show recruiters. And when she did this, that was when she started getting callbacks from companies like Deloitte. So if you're wondering, that's why I'm doing this, because I know the game. I've played it, I've coached it, I've watched people that I know and even strangers win at it. And it's a feeling that I would love to experience over and over again. A feeling, the same feeling that Ada had, that I would love for you to experience yourself. So today is not just about giving you information. What we're here to do is to show you how to use your story, your skills, and your background, even though it wasn't in tech, as your leverage to the next level. So we've done this over 3,000 times. And if you're in this session, you are next. Okay. So if Ada's story was impactful for you, I want you to drop a comment in the chat box and say, me too. Okay, if Ada's story was impactful for you, if you felt something when you heard Ada's story, and you believe that you would like to be the next person who shares your own story on how 10 Analytics has changed your life. Okay, I can see Priscilla, me too. Blessing, me too. Okay, this is fantastic. Timmy, me too. Fantastic, fantastic. We've got a lot of amazing people here who are looking at how tech is going to change their lives. And one thing I can guarantee you is that you stay with me, we are going to give you that blueprint. Now, do you know that feeling of checking your email and seeing only rejections? You know, that dejected feeling that you get when you open your email and what you're seeing is, unfortunately, we regret to inform you, and so on. I saw this post on Twitter where someone was trying to make a joke and he took a screenshot of his email account and he just typed in the search box, unfortunately. And there were so many, unfortunately, emails that came in. You know, one came in at 2:33 a.m., another one at 3:32. So he was just like, he was mass applying, and he also got mass rejection letters. So that's what you get when you apply for jobs without proper positioning. We're already watching something unique, the future. It's unfolding before our eyes. AI is now taking over people's jobs. Everything is being automated. I know that if you've been keeping up with the news, you probably must have heard about AI taking over people's jobs. You've heard about mass layoffs from big tech companies like Google. You've heard about mass layoffs from companies like Meta and the rest of them. And we're wondering, what in the world is going on? Even when it comes to job applications, ATS is now a major blocker. So now you don't even get people who are viewing your resumes first anymore. Now you're actually getting AI to review your resume first before it is filtered and sent to people who are going to take a look at it. It's just like filtered into a shortlist, and then they review the shortlist and decide on who they want to contact. You know, one time I had someone tell me that how is he expected to change his resume for every job that he applies to? Again, this is where execution excels. This person is very gifted. He has the skills. He's very smart. I mean, if you want to talk about code on this spot right now, he will build an app for you and you will be amazed. However, he wasn't getting callbacks because he was just using the same resume to apply for different jobs. So he was getting mass rejections. Imagine applying for a role at Amazon and you are relying solely on a resume that you can use to apply for a job in Walmart, when you have hundreds, even thousands of people who are probably more qualified, who have decades of experience, and they are all vying for the same position. Do you see how competitive the market is? So how do you get the kind of experience that recruiters in the UK, in US, or Canada actually care about when no one will give you a chance? We're going to get into that, guys. Now, what we have done is we have designed a three-pronged approach to helping you become successful in the job market today. The first is for you to learn. Now, learning is very important, right? Because you have to learn the skills first before you can say, oh, I want to get into the job market and I want to position myself here. What is your market? What are you selling, right? What is in your stall? So you can pick any of these in-demand career paths that we have vetted for you and say, oh, I want to go for data science. I want to go for data engineering, whatever that means. And I want you to keep in mind as we go on, I'm going to touch on this down the line, that for every of this career path that is listed here, there are what we call subsets, right? So just because you choose business analyst doesn't mean that that's the only career path that is open to you. Again, we'll get into more of that down the line, but don't think that, oh, just because I'm an agile project manager, I cannot apply for any other job. But this is just, you just need to pick one, focus on it, and then when it comes to job applications, there are different subsets in each category that you can decide to get a job in. Now, once you've actually learned the skills, you focus on learning the skills. And guys, I really want to stress this point, because we get some people who come in sometimes to our clarity calls and then they get very excited and they say, oh, I really love data analytics. Oh, I really love cybersecurity. I'm confused. You know what? I want to do two of them. It's not possible. You have to focus on one first. And one brilliant thing about this, it's that, again, I think I've mentioned this before, there's what we call transferable skills in tech, right? So transferable skills in tech is, for example, say you were a teacher. Maybe you were a teacher in Africa If you're a teacher in Africa, and for those of us who are parents here, I'm calling you out, you know yourselves. So for teachers, maybe they have to manage parents who maybe say, oh, you did this to my child, or I did not like the way you taught my child or something, and you go to the teacher and the teacher has to communicate with you and calm you down and basically manage that situation. And you've probably, if you're a parent, you've probably had experiences with the ones who managed it very badly and the ones who managed it well. Now you see that management, that being able to talk people down and calm them down, and when they say, oh, I'm very angry with you, I'm going to pull my child out of the school, and you manage that situation. That is a negotiation skill. That is a stakeholder management skill. And that is a 100% transferable skill in a role like business analysis. So don't think that just because you don't have any background in this, you've never done it before, it seems like it's very intimidating, that you don't have any transferable skills. You do. If you can talk and talk and talk, you probably do very well in HR analytics. You probably do well in agile project management. You probably do well as a business analyst. So moving on, once you've learned all of this, and now you have the skill, the next thing is for you to package and present yourself in the market. Packaging is how you position yourself to the people who are looking for your skills. So let me put this into perspective for you. Think of yourself like a product. If you had a sweet craving and you walked into a Walmart and saw two sweet packs, right? Now, one of them is in a dirty wrapper and the other one is in a shiny wrapper. Which would you go for, right? So you have a sweet craving and you walk into a Walmart and you say, oh, I'm craving a sweet right now. And you go and you check the shelf and you see one of them that looks like it's dirty, it's probably muddy, and you see another one that comes in a really shiny wrapper, and while the other one is just in a cardboard box. And this one that comes in a really shiny wrapper, it looks really good to your eyes. Which one are you going to go for? Right? So humans are conditioned to go for that which is shinier, cleaner, and looks like it would be a better fit. This is what packaging does, because we would 100% go for the shiny one. Packaging puts you above others in the market, and packaging includes things like how your CV looks to employers. It includes things like how your LinkedIn looks. Look, I once spoke to someone who was looking for a job, and she said, oh, I've been applying for jobs, Lola. I don't know what is going on. And the first thing I always say in those cases is, send me your resume. So let's take a look at it. Maybe something is wrong here. Maybe ATS is not picking it up. And she sent her resume to me. And the first thing I noticed was she did not even have a LinkedIn profile there. So LinkedIn is very important, and then we also provide you with other things as we want to get more into this as we go down the line. But all of this comes together to build skills that make you employable, skills that make you interesting and appealing in the job market. Now, last but not least, it is very important for you to apply. However, how you apply, the kind of jobs you apply to, the kind of resume that you use to apply for these jobs is what will make or break your application. That is what is going to determine if your outcome will be quality or not. Now, for those people who are here who are serial job applicators, so you already have experience, you can apply for like 50 job listings in a day, right? And then sometimes you don't even read these job applications, you just click apply, 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 apply. So once you go through the system of learning, of packaging, you can no longer apply like that. Now you have to apply with precision. You have to be very deliberate, because the outcome that you are looking for is quality. Quality above all. That is what will get you the results. Now, when you combine all of these really amazing things together, what you're going to get is what you're looking for, which in this case is a job, right? Okay. So now let's bring all of this to life, because I've said a lot of interesting things. And now you're thinking, okay, all of this is really interesting, but who has actually done this and gotten real results out of it, right? Judith is one of our most, I can't even say she's our most because we have so many amazing testimonials. She's one of our most inspiring success stories. You see, when Judith joined 10 Analytics, she was working as a carer in the UK. But here's the thing, Judith already had a HR background. She had years and years of experience. But the thing was, she just did not know how to reposition that experience for tech roles. So Judith knew that she wanted better, right? But like a lot of people, she was stuck at the how. How am I going to do this? How am I going to get from where I am right now to where I need to be? So here is what Judith did. She joined our business analysis program. Judith showed up to mentorship sessions. Judith rebuilt her CV from scratch using the templates that we had worked with for her. And then she also ensured that she tailored her resume to every job application. She also practiced through multiple interview preps, and eventually she got to the first round, she got to the second, she got to the third, and then she got to the final stage and received an offer. So what made a difference for Judith, and why is she one of our most inspiring success stories? A major part of it was the support that 10 Analytics provided to her. When she needed access to real roles to apply to, she had access to our internal job board. When Judith needed job references, we provided them. When she got the job, she was prepared for the role because by the time she got it, she had already been learning and prepping for months with us. She followed the exact model that I just covered religiously to a T. And I'll say it again, guys. Learn, package, and apply. You follow this model and 100% you will get a job, right? So I would love for you to hear it from Judith herself and how Judith was able to go from care to getting a job, right? So I'm just going to quickly play Judith's video so you can listen to what Judith has to say. For the past 7 years, over 7 years, that pressure really helped me. That in this job now, I'm about to take a higher role. Yeah, I'm about to take a higher role because within few months, my boss was like, "Oh, I see you are very good." I said, "Yes." I got my training with analytics, and they're very good. Even my classmates that we went to school together in the UK, most of them are asking me. I've referred about 25 of them to analytics. Here, a popular face on the channel, Mr. Deza Suleiman, and I also have here Judith, aka Ngozi, aka I can help people get good jobs abroad. So, Madam Judith, today I just want you to share something brief about yourself. I know that you don't have time, and also share an honest advice for migrants who are looking for well-paying jobs abroad. Okay, your honest, genuine advice. Okay, pass fast. All right, so thank you everyone for having me. I remember I was also a carer when I met Tolu. Yeah, I met her when she went to drop her child in school, same school with my daughter. And then she was telling me, "Oh, why not go into tech?" I was like, "What do you mean go into tech? Is that what you do?" And then she said yes, that she got a job after she had a training with analytics. I was like, wow, then give me the link because I've been trying to get one, and then the one I got was in London. I was so expensive. I even bless God I haven't paid. So when she shared analytics with me, I went to check on Instagram and I saw it. And then I joined. The fee was very okay because compared to what I was going to pay for, that one was so high. And then they were not my people. Of course, I might not even hear them speak. So I joined analytics and then I took the training, and of which before I joined analytics, I've tried to, because I studied computer science, I've tried getting jobs. I couldn't get, I was just doing healthcare jobs, which I wasn't even okay with. So, but then after I finished my training, I just remember that there was just, the only thing I did that I wasn't doing before was that the templates the analytics gave for CV after the training, I just changed my CV to that. I changed the format and then I submitted it back to this same company that hired me in the US that I've been trying to get into for a long time. And then I got the job. It was just a surprise I got the job. Okay. So as you can see, guys, I'm sure we've all heard from Judith herself on how she worked with 10 Analytics to get a job, and she moves from being a carer into a new industry, right? So this could be you. You could be just like Judith, sharing your story on how you move from your current industry to where you actually want to be. Okay, now remember that I said we were going to break down those points to learn. We're going to start with the learn model, right? What exactly are you learning, and why is it important that you learn what you are learning? So what we have done, right, is we have looked at the 8 career paths, or we have analyzed things like the job boards, we have analyzed things like the World Economic Forum, and other tools as well. Like, okay, you want to get a skills worker visa in the UK, you want to get jobs that would give you a visa to the US, you want to get jobs that you can be eligible for in Canada, that would position you well across these regions. And we have paired that with job boards analysis and said which ones are the highest paying jobs and the ones that are more likely to give you that break in this path that you have chosen, right? So what we do is that we currently run job board analysis to find out which jobs are in high demand. And to do this, we aggregate that data from job boards like LinkedIn. We also use tools like Built-in, Indeed, Glassdoor, and others to find the jobs with the highest salaries. And now we pair that with data from the World Economic Forum, which is the Future of Jobs 2025 report. I would also like to state here that one thing that we do is ensure that we keep this updated, because if there's one thing the tech world does, it is constantly evolve, constantly innovate. For 2025, you can be sure that you are covered. Now, we use the data that we get to analyze jobs that will stay relevant for years to come, and more importantly, jobs that are relevant today. So I want you to trust me, right? If plumbing ever comes on that list, right? If they say plumbing is one of the jobs that can secure you a visa to the UK, to the US, or can position you to earn very well in these economies, trust me, it would be on 10 Analytics course list. We're going to be offering that because, again, it is not enough to learn a new skill. The question is, can you secure a job that is high demand with those skills? And that is what we are 100% focused on, not just teaching you skills, but teaching you how you can use these skills that we have taught you to secure a job that will set you up. Now, we also analyze career paths that would help you secure skilled worker visa, like I mentioned, across all of these regions like UK, US, Canada, and we pair that with the job board analysis, with the World Economic Forum, and then that gives us all of these career paths that we offer in 10 Analytics, like business analyst to data analyst to data scientist to agile scrum master to data engineering, cybersecurity analyst, and financial analyst. So you can be rest assured that these are jobs that will never, ever run out of options, right? At least for 2025 and until 2030. We're going to be going more into this, and we're going to look at the data in depth, right? So if you haven't filled out the form that my colleagues are going to be sharing in the chat, please be reminded to do so, because you're going to get access to the resources that we're using in this masterclass, and you can review the reports that I'm going to be sharing with you in detail, especially the reports of the World Economic Forum, right? Or you can just look it up online and check out the PDF. It's available for free. Now, let's talk about what's really happening in the world of work, but not theory, right? Let's talk about what is happening based on the latest global labor market data. So according to the World Economic Forum, the Future of Jobs Report 2025 edition, by the year 2030, we are going to see a major shakeup in the job industry. Now I'm talking 92 million jobs will disappear. 92 million. However, 170 million jobs will be created as well. right? So now 170 million jobs sounds very amazing, right? But then you realize that not everyone is going to be qualified for these jobs that are being created. So let me break down what I mean for you. These jobs that are disappearing, these 92 million jobs, they are mostly roles that are being replaced by automation and AI. And I kid you not, at some point in the world, these jobs were really hot, right? But the world is evolving now. And things like routine heavy, repetitive, or jobs that can be easily scripted and replaced by machines are being phased out. Like I mentioned before, the news is filled with mass layoffs because companies are now learning to automate their processes using AI. I told you guys before, right? For a business, the only thing they are concerned about is how do we earn money? How do we make more money? And if they can make more money by replacing people with AI models, then they will do so, which is why it is on people who are looking for jobs to ask themselves, how do I meet the market demands and ensure that I stay on top of what is happening? So I'm going to give you an example, right? For customer support, we can now build support agents. We can teach these support agents how to respond to queries and even how to sell the company's service. The technology is not perfect yet, yeah, but if there's one thing that AI does, it's innovate through endless learning. Sometimes there was a company that I called and I was having a conversation with an AI, and I just thought to myself, I said, you can imagine a customer support person has just lost their job. Why? Because this is a job that can be easily automated, right? But these jobs that are growing, they require a completely different skill profile. And I'm talking about jobs in AI and machine learning. I'm talking about jobs in data and analytics. I'm talking about jobs in cybersecurity, jobs that are human centric most especially because one thing AI cannot do yet is understand the human nuance. And for you to navigate the complexities of human relationships, you have to be able to understand that an AI is not there yet. And frankly speaking, because AI is built to understand logic, its systems runs on logic, it would be very difficult for AI to catch up with that system. So these are roles that require hybrid skills. It's not just about knowing how to use Excel or how to manage your tasks. It's about understanding systems, tools, logic, and business outcome. First, while AI is amazing, it cannot do all of that. And guys, I want you to keep this in mind. This shift is not happening gradually, it's accelerating. Every year, more people are losing their jobs to AI. So we're not talking about the next decade, we're talking about the next 5 years. A huge shift that will happen, and 92 million jobs will disappear, and it's already happening. So I have a question for you. What side of the 2030 line will you be on? Are you going to be among the 92 million roles that are phased out by tech? Or are you going to be one of the people stepping into the 170 million jobs that are being created by tech? Because 5 years from now, it will not be about who worked the hardest. It's going to be about who was able to adapt the fastest. So if you are still with me and you 100% agree with what I just said, please type in adapt in the chat box. Please type in adapt in the chat box if you agree with what I just said. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, desire, okay, adapt, Samura, adapt, be adapt, fantastic, okay, Adekam, be Sydney, adapt, okay, fantastic. It's great to see that a lot of people here agree with me again. This is why I said it's fantastic that we have so many people who are ready to take the next step into their career. So now let's talk about these roles that are growing the fastest in tech. And these jobs are not only safe, but they are exploding in demand globally. When I say exploding, I mean companies cannot get enough of these roles. We're going to start with data, right? There's a saying that you may have heard, or maybe you've not heard it. We say data is the new oil. And it's not just a buzzword, it's playing out in real time today, right? Data engineers, for example, they're not just in demand, they're becoming foundational to every industry that's trying to automate, personalize, or predict their business processes. I mentioned earlier that these titles, they're not standing still. They're expanding into new sub-specialties. And like I told you before, you can see a job that is represented with a different title, but at its core, it's still the same thing, just with nuances. So let's start with data engineering, right? So think of these people like plumbers, but plumbers for digital information. Every company today, and I'm talking banks, hospitals, e-commerce stores, they are drowning in data. I mean, sales data, user activity, customer complaints, website clicks, and all of these are data that tell you just how well the business is doing. But this data, it's usually messy, it's scattered, and it is useless in its raw form. So a data engineer's job is to build the systems that would collect all of this data, they would clean it, they would organize it into a structure that analysts and decision makers can use to drive the business forward. Now, as you can see, we've also highlighted two roles that are a specialty of data engineering, like big data specialist and data warehousing. So for example, a big data specialist is someone who's working with huge amounts of real-time information. So let me put this into perspective for you. Think of the data that is coming from apps like Uber, like Instagram or Netflix every second. That's a lot of data. And somebody has to clean it up so the decision makers can understand what this data means. So now we also have data warehousing specialists, and that's someone who designs the actual digital storage. This is where all the company's data sits. So I want you to think of it like a storage house or a warehouse for information. So in summary, like I said, companies are swimming in data, but without people to organize, clean, and structure that data, they're flying blind. And that's where you come in for anyone looking to go into data engineering. Now let's talk about data analysts and data scientists. So this is where you go from plumbing the data to actually using the data. So imagine that you're a business, right? You've got all of this data about your customers, your sales, your employees, but question is, what do you do with it? A data analyst will answer questions like, why did our sales drop last month? Which product is performing best? Hey, why did our products perform better in London, than it did in Alberta, right? Which region needs more marketing? So data analysts use tools like Excel, like Power BI, like Tableau to spot patterns, and they help companies make decisions based on facts, not just guesses. A data scientist would even go further, right? They would build models that help companies to predict the future. I think it's a really cool career path to be in because they build models that predict things like, hey, which customers are most likely to cancel next month? What pricing model is going to boost our sales? Or can we build a smart system that adjusts automatically based on inputs? I don't remember the name of the store, but there was a store, I believe, in the US that built a model that predicted what people needed based off the things that they were searching for. So they began to send this lady, she was a teenager, they were sending her coupons for babies, baby materials. They were sending her coupons for baby food and the rest. And, that was how her father, she was a teenager, and that was how her father found out she was pregnant. It's a really sad story, but this tells you exactly what data scientists are capable of. This only happened because of the kind of things that she was searching for. And the system was able to predict that most likely she's pregnant and began to send her, coupons. And, they were using this to send her things that would, to drive her purchase. And yeah, that exposed her to her dad. So Now you've got AI machine learning specialists, and these are people behind things like facial recognition, recommendation engines like Netflix, or fraud detection tools, right? AI and machine learning specialists. So this is a really amazing and very interesting career path for anyone who's looking to go into it. I think you build really amazing things and actually change the world in a very amazing way. Now let's talk about cybersecurity analyst. This role is exploding, and for a very good reason. Everything is online now. I'm talking your banking, your shopping, even your medical history. Everything is online. And that means that companies are getting attacked from all angles. A cybersecurity analyst is a person who would spot weaknesses in a person's systems, who would put up firewalls and protections, who would respond when things look suspicious and ensure that sensitive information like users' data is safe. And even within the cybersecurity space, things are evolving. Now we have different roles like information security analyst, we have a security management specialist, we have internet of things specialist as well. So this is also an amazing career path to get into. And the best part of it, cybersecurity isn't all that technical. So if you come from HR, if you come from compliance, if you come from finance, law, customer service, your understanding of people and systems will give you a major edge to thrive in this ecosystem. I mean, there are technical bits to it, but again, like I mentioned, so long as you have a very strong foundation in what we call transferable skills when it comes to tech, you would excel in this role. All right, now for business analyst, right? AKA process automation specialist. And I want you to also note this, right? This is a business analyst role, but you can see here that, it's also listed as a process automation specialist. And this is why I said that you can go for any of these courses, and then there are subsets that are under that. They are still leading to, they actually mean the same thing. When you review the job descriptions is when you realize that what they're talking about is a business analyst, but they can have different titles. So think of process automation specialist or business analyst, think of them like fixers. What they do is they turn complicated and inefficient processes into smooth and predictable systems that companies can trust. And I'm going to put things into perspective for you here. A mid-sized bank was struggling with a couple of things, including manual loan applications. So that process was just fraught with inefficiencies, lengthy approvals because they were dealing with a lot of papers and they had to go through different approval tiers, and the entire process was just inefficient. They also had their data scattered across different systems. So they realized that they had a problem. And what they did was they brought in a business analyst who did a couple of things to find out where exactly is this problem coming from and how can we come in and solve this problem. So they spoke to all their departments, right? They spoke to their loan officers, they spoke to their managers, they spoke to their IT departments, and they used the insights that they gathered to map their current workflows, and then they identify their bottlenecks. So this is where your process is breaking. This is where your system is breaking. And then they use that information to design a new system that automated their data entry, reduced duplication across departments, and improved cross-functional collaboration. And when I say cross-functional collaboration, for those of us who are not in tech, it means departments, multiple departments working together to achieve one goal. Now, what was the result of this? Employee frustration, it dropped. And then customer satisfaction improved and skyrocketed because the process that would take them 1 week before was now taking them an hour. So that is exactly what business analysts do. They don't just understand the problem and stop there. They design scalable and automated solutions that ensure that these problems that they have identified will stay solved. These roles are in high demand, they're high paying, and they play a strategic part of every business. So this is a fantastic career path for you to get into as well. Now let's talk about agile project managers. Now, what agile project managers do is that they break these projects into manageable chunks that are called sprints. Now, I want you to look here. You can see here that it's highlighted as project managers. So even though you're an agile project manager and scrum master, you can see the job broken down into subsets like project managers. And by the time you review it, you would see requirements like you have to understand scrum models, you have to understand agile models, etc. Or you might see a listing for a scrum master, but it's all, like I mentioned, they are all subsets of one thing. So you become an agile project manager and scrum master, you have the skills, the resources, the tools that you need for you to function across this subset. So what do agile project managers do? Like I said, they break down big projects into smaller bites, and these bites are called sprints. They help their teams prioritize work based on what matters the most. They remove things like blockers so there's no confusion or technical delays. So in order for you to become a project manager, trust me guys, you do not need to have to code at all. You don't even need to know one line of code. All you have to do is to understand how to manage people, how to manage processes, and drive delivery, especially under pressure. Because trust me, you will be under a lot of pressure, especially from stakeholders, right? So these are just some of the roles that are on the rise. And like I mentioned before, you can check the World Economic Forum to see a more detailed breakdown on everything that I just walked you through. Right, so now we've talked about all of these roles and all of the subsets that are under them, or rather some of the subsets. We cannot cover everything in one sitting, it's impossible. So the question is, just how much are people earning for this stuff? And the answer to that is it depends on your location and the location of the company that you are working with, right? So what we have done here is that we have detailed these jobs and the average salaries for this job across different industries. For example, business analysis. So in the UK, you earn anything from £52,000, and in Canada, 74,000 CAD, in the USA, $85,000. In data analytics, you earn from, in the UK, it's from £40. In Canada, we're looking at from 64. In the US, we're looking at 72,000 dollars. In data science, we're looking at £55,000. In Canada, we're looking at 94,000. In USA, we're looking at 121,000. Now, remember, guys, this is the average for these roles, right? So some people might be able to, depending on how you package yourself, which is why the package section is so important. You can probably get more than this. I mean, we've heard stories of people in 10 analytics who just started. They just got started in that industry. They came to 10 analytics, they learned for 6 months, did a 2 month internship with Amdari, and they moved from, instead of applying for jobs where they were interns, just went straight into managerial or senior roles, because being able to package yourself is what will sell you in this market, and that's what they were able to do. So this is a benchmark, and it really depends on how well you are able to sell yourself. You could be able to earn way more than this, depending on how well you can negotiate, on how well you package the market or the products that you're selling, which is you and your skills. Now, for data engineering in the UK, it's about £65,000. In Canada, we're looking at over 100K. In US, we're looking at 134K. Same thing applies for agile project managers. We're looking at £53,000 in the UK. In Canada, we're looking at 97,000 in the US. And this applies across all of the roles, right? For HR analytics, for financial analytics, and for cybersecurity analyst as well. So I want you to picture this, right? If you are here and one of your goals or your main goal is to ensure that you are able to secure a role in one of these high paying career paths. Picture this, that you are earning this amount in whatever region it is that you're targeting, or wherever it is that you currently live. Or maybe you're one of those people who is just fantastic at positioning and you are able to earn above this benchmark. So it could be you guys. It could be you. All right. So now I know some of you might be thinking, Lola, these courses, they all sound so amazing, but I still have no idea which one fits me. So maybe you have never worked in tech, right? Maybe you're trying to figure out if you're more analytical or you're more creative, or maybe you're torn between cybersecurity or data science, or maybe between HR analytics and data analytics. That is why we built what we call the Career Personality Quiz. It is a 3-minute strategic quiz that was built by professionals like our coaches and course leads to help you figure out what roles align with your natural strengths. Now you take this career quiz and we're going to use your personality and your work style to recommend the courses that might be a fit for you. We're also going to look at your professional experience, no matter how random it feels right now, and how it could be your biggest advantage. So it's not just about, what is in demand right now, what is paying the highest. It is also about what fits you, so that you're not forcing yourself into a role that you are going to hate in 6 months. So my team is going to be sharing the course quiz as well in the chat box. And so let me just click here so you see what that looks like. Okay, so when you click this link, that is the quiz link, is going to lead you to this screen where you can select the career, where you can just, you can see this, not sure what career path suits you, and you can click on get started. Okay, I don't know if my team has shared the link with you. Let me just copy that and share it with you in the chat box so you have access to it. Okay, so I have dropped the link in the chat box. Please click on the link in case you're wondering what career path would be the perfect fit for your personality, for your skill set, and you need that extra help. So it doesn't matter, guys. If what you are recommended does not feel like a fit for you, it doesn't have to be a fit for you, right? This is just to say, based on your input, this is what we believe would be the perfect fit for you. Now, I would like you to take this quiz. I have dropped the link in the chat section. Take the quiz and share the results that you get in the comment section. It does not take a long time. It takes you like 3 minutes and you're done. So all you have to do is fill in your name here, fill in your, okay, let me just do that so you see what that looks like. Fill in your last name, okay? You fill in your mobile number, and I'm just going to use my Nigerian number here, and you fill in your email address as well, and you're in. That's pretty much it. You are in, right? So here you also agree to the processing of your personal data. And really, this is just information that we can use to send you tips on the career path that was suggested to you by our automated system. It's a very, very fast quiz, guys. It does not take a lot of time. All you have to do is just select, just keep selecting the one that works for you. And, at the end, you are going, and now I'm just randomly selecting just so we can all see what that looks like. But again, guys, please fill this quiz and then share your results in the chat section. I would love to know what you got. Okay, so here I can select as many as I want to, and I'm going to tap here so we can see what that looks like. Okay, so I got data engineering, and you can see a brief on my profile here. So you can also click on this link. And when you click on this link, it leads you to a checkout store where you can buy this specific course if you're ready to step into it. And you can also book a free call as well. My team is also dropping the links. They're going to drop it continuously throughout our conversation in the chat link for you to book a clarity call and gain more clarity on the career path. But one thing I would advise you to do is, even though you do not like the skill, the tech path that was recommended for you, and you think, oh, maybe I need to have more conversations to decide whether or not I want to do it, feel free to book a clarity call. And when you come into the call, you can say, oh, I took the quiz and I was recommended data engineering, but I think that I would be perfect for cybersecurity. That's for those of us who would like to get human input on that. But if you do feel like you've taken the quiz and this is perfect for you and you are ready to step into it, you can just go directly into making your payment. Okay, guys, so please take the quiz and share your results here. I have dropped the quiz link in the chat section, so you can do that. Okay. All right, so we're just going to move ahead. And once you're done taking the quiz, please share your results so we can all take a look at it and then we can talk about it. Okay, I'm seeing Blessing, business analyst. Fantastic. Analysis is one of the best career paths that you could go into. Like I've touched on, you get to work with businesses and processes, and you get to inspire the next decade of change and innovation across industries. Cybersecurity, Lola Femi, cybersecurity is also an amazing career path for you. You get to secure systems. One thing I really love about cybersecurity, guys, is because if you watch movies like Fast and Furious, when you see these hackers and what they do when they say, oh, I just got in, and they click a couple of buttons and it's like they've hacked the system, and one thing that always gets me is, imagine if you were a fantastic cybersecurity expert, right? And you were able to like kick that person out of the system. What happens then? The movie script does need them to get into it, but just think about how hilarious that would be. I've always found that very funny, I guess, which is one of the reasons why the cybersecurity path has always had this certain appeal. Okay, iPhone is saying business analysis. So we've got a lot of business analysts in the house. Fantastic. Okay, Aurelua said, I got HR analytics, but I want to delve into Agile PM. And this is part of what I'm saying, guys. You don't have to be boxed into that just because the system gave you that option. If you don't feel like it's the right move for your career path, you can still book a clarity call and we'll have that conversation with you on which one is the right path for you. However, if you feel that knowing in yourself when you see the results, I want you to take your time, read the summaries there, look at what you can earn with these roles, look at the people who have done the same thing and have replicated the same people who have done the same thing and have gotten amazing results with it, and decide whether or not this is a career path that you want to get into. Okay, so if you make that decision, feel free to just click on a button and go to main stack and lock it down immediately. Okay, guys, now let's talk about the next thing on our list, which is what is the learning model that we use in 10 analytics, right? And we use two different approaches. We use a blended learning model, and I'm going to explain to you why that actually matters. A lot of online programs, they are either fully paced, and fully paced gives you flexibility, but you don't have any accountability. So I know for a fact that I'm one of those people who has started different courses on Coursera, and I did not complete any of them. The ones that I completed, it was because I was in a community and I was being pushed to do it, right? I had people, I had peers, and we could talk about the problems, we could deconstruct them together, we could solve them together, but when it came to like self-paced, when there was no strong community, my results were very low. But when I joined the community and we were watching videos and breaking these things down together, my results shot up, right? So we have two different learning models. Like I mentioned before, we offer self-paced and we also offer instructor-led as well. With instructor led, it gives you structure. But the thing is that for many of these companies like Coursera, like Udemy, and the rest who just focus on on the ones that are fully self-paced, you also have other companies as well that also focus on the ones that are fully live and instructor led. But you see, the problem with that is that they give you all the structure. I mean, you have your facilitators who are in class and you can talk to them. But I've realized that a lot of people, and we've been at this game for close to 5 years. So trust me, guys, and we're a data and strategy company. So a lot of research has gone into this. What we have realized as a company is that a lot of people feel pressure when they are in an environment like that. So right now we have over 100 people on this call, and there are some people who might feel uncomfortable turning on their camera and addressing this kind of crowd. There are some people who you might say, oh, mute your mic and talk about your problem, but they might not want to talk about it. At the end, we're also going to have a quick conversation, but a lot of people will probably have questions that they want to ask, but they will not unmute their mics and ask that question. And for this kind of people, live instructor-led classes are not a good fit. So what we realize at 10 Analytics is that if we blend these two models together, it results in a hybrid system that gives you the best of both worlds. So the first is self-paced learning. So you're going to get on-demand, do-it-yourself video lessons that you can watch at your own pace, right? You can rewatch it as many times as you need. You can rewatch it when you're cooking. You can watch it when you're on the train. You can move at your own speed, whether that is weekends alone or maybe 2 a.m. after work. So this is perfect for building your foundation. You get to learn the concept, the tools, and the workflows that you need to learn without the pressure of a live class. Now, the next one is instructor-led classes, right? These are weekly real-time sessions with experts from companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Deloitte, and more. And the value of this is that you get to solve problems together. You get feedback on your projects. You get to ask questions if you are feeling stuck. So the power of both is in the combination. Self-paced gives you depth, and live sessions gives you sharpness, it gives you community, and that community gives you momentum. Together, they make sure that by the time you are done, you're not coming to ask things like, oh, did I complete this course that I started at all? This was a complete waste of time. Like me, who has lots of courses on Coursera that I haven't gone back to take a look at for the past 2 years. You're now saying, I'm ready to get hired by the end of this. Okay, so I need you to lock one mindset shift today. I need you to lock that down, because this right here, this is where most people get stuck, especially those who are coming from outside the UK, the US, or Canada. They think that the solution to their problem is another degree. They think, if I just get a Western certificate, maybe these people in the job market are going to take me seriously. They think that their credentials or their lack of credentials, of local credentials, are their problem. But I'm going to tell you one thing that hiring managers and recruiters are looking for, a couple of things rather. What they're looking for is, can you solve this problem in front of them? Can you hit the ground running? And more importantly, can you do it fast? That is competence. And in 2025 and beyond, competence beats credentials every single time. Nobody cares if you've got a certificate from Harvard. Honestly, nobody cares. The most important thing is that when you are in that pressure pot, can you actually deliver. So one of the methods that McKinsey uses when recruiting business analysts, and it's very interesting, right? You can actually Google this and watch videos on YouTube. And even when you're watching these videos, you feel like you are in the room with them because of how stressful it is. And you can actually feel that. So they place these guys in rooms where they present problems to them, and right in front of these recruiters, these analysts have to break down the problem and how they would solve it. So can you hold your own in that kind of setting? If you can't, don't worry, we're going to teach you how. So I want you to say it with me in the chat if this really hits you. Competence first. Drop a competence first in the chat if this really hits you. Like I said, the most important thing, the most impactful thing that you can do here is to prove competence. Competence above all, that is what is going to get you a job in the industry that you are looking at. Okay, guys. Now let me introduce you to Hope, right? And I want you to really listen to this one, right? So stop whatever you're doing if you're doing something else and pay attention, because her story might sound a lot like yours. Hope already had project management and Scrum Master certification. So on paper, she looks ready. She was perfect. But in Canada, despite applying everywhere, nothing was landed. And why is that? Because Hope is a perfect example of competence over credentials. She didn't just need knowledge. What she needed was proof, because certifications are not enough anymore. What Hope needed was real world execution. So in September 2024, she joined our Agile Project Management program here at 10 Analytics. And by December 2024, that was like barely 3 months later, Hope had landed a job as a project analyst. So I want us to hear from Hope herself for just a few minutes so that we can hear it from the horse's mouth, just like people say, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Okay, so I'm just
now MuleSoft can help. It's the unified.
It helped me land my first project management job in Canada, and I'm really grateful for it. Of course, it's a six-figure job, and I appreciate the fact that they had a great impact in me landing that job. Hello, my name is Hope Otoye. I am an alumni of Analytics. I joined the 2024 September cohort class for Agile Project Management. Prior to joining this cohort, I had a certificate in project management, and I had written the PMP, and I'd also written the Scrum Master certification, which I passed both, but I still needed to land a project management role in Canada. Prior to when I moved to Canada, I had an experience with managing projects and handling agile projects in Nigeria. But moving to Canada, I hadn't gathered enough experience in the project space, so I needed to break into that space. Analytics was recommended to me, and I tried it. I had a focus on what I wanted, and they helped me achieve that. I joined the class, it was very interactive, it was very educative. I increased what I knew prior to joining the class, and I learned new things as well. I would definitely recommend Analytics to anyone who is looking to break into a new field or change career path. I think Analytics is where you should be. You should register with them. They would help you with your post-registration, ongoing classes, getting a.
Okay. So now you have heard it from Hope herself. And like she said, she believes that if you are ready to take your career into your own hands, 10 Analytics is where you need to be. So, one really amazing thing about this, guys, you do not have to take my word for it. These are people, real people who are available on LinkedIn. You can just go and search them up and you can chat with them and ask them, how was your experience with 10 Analytics? And if you look at their profiles, you can clearly see that these are alumni of 10 Analytics. So I want you to just imagine with me that you are one of these amazing, amazing success stories. So if you let us, we would love you to be one of the people that 10 Analytics impacts. And like I mentioned before, guys, one thing I really love about what we do here at 10 Analytics is how we are changing the job market and impacting the lives of people globally. Now let's go into packaging, right? Remember, we've gone through learn and now we are at the package level. This is where most people fail because even if you learn the skill, it means absolutely nothing if you cannot show that skill properly. So at 10 Analytics, we help you package yourself like the professional candidates that you are, whether or not you have worked in tech before. So you might be asking, right, how does this work? So one of the first things that we do is we give you a CV review or revamping, right? And when we do that, you now have a template that you can edit and use to apply for jobs later on. But the first level is that we review your resume and we edit it to ensure that it looks really good to employers. So now you have a template that works. And when you're applying for jobs, all you do is you look at this job description for a HR analytics role, and then you just take out some keywords and you add that in your resume and you apply. You do this so that the ATS system can pick you up. This kind of resume or this kind of application style, which is editing your resume, is something that would help you get noticed and stand out from the growing crowd. And I want to put emphasis on this growing crowd. Every year, we have new sets of graduates who are joining the job market. So, more than ever, it is very important for you to be able to stand out from the market. I mean, today we have some people who still have states in their resumes. We're running some recruitment into analytics, and we just saw some really funny resumes. I would have really loved to show you one of that, but yes, we have to be data compliant, so I can't show you. No one is going to call you back if you're applying to a job with a resume that looks like it would have been relevant back in 1995, right? So another thing is previous experience, right? Most employers in the UK, and I'm talking in US, in the UK, in Canada, they don't want someone who has never worked in an economy like theirs before, which is why someone like Ada, whose story that I shared at the beginning, kept on getting rejected. This is why most of the people who come into analytics and then share their stories say, oh, I was rejected at the beginning. So at 10 Analytics, one thing we do is that we encourage our learners to update their LinkedIn profiles and list their experience with us as consultants immediately they start. So what this does, it gives you positioning because 10 Analytics is registered and operates from Canada. It also gives you Western and international experience, so people aren't telling you things like, oh, you don't have local experience. Well, you do. You've worked in a Canadian company, right? Another thing that we do is we also teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. We teach you how to build a profile that actually gets recruiters to message you. Now, for those of us who have ever received a job in the email, you just get a notification from a recruiter and they're telling you, oh, this is a job that, we think you would be a good fit for. If you like it, please apply here and all of that. That is how you know that you are either on your way to having a truly magnetic LinkedIn profile or you are already there. So I once spoke to someone, it's a really funny thing. She told me that she was looking for a job as a cybersecurity expert, but she did not have a LinkedIn profile. And the reason that she gave to me was because, she's shy. She doesn't really want to be out there. She doesn't like to talk to people. Guys, everybody is shy. But when you're looking for money, you have to put that shyness aside and step out of your shell, right? That is especially if you moved from Africa to the UK to Canada to the US. You are not there so that you can be shy for any reason. You are there to actually stand out, right? So another thing that we do at 10 Analytics is to teach you how to navigate the job market. And this includes a lot of things. One of the things that we do, like I mentioned earlier, is that we give you access to a job board that is private. What we do is we work with partners and we get this data from our partners and we update this every week. So instead of you having to apply and fight for roles with people who are on Indeed, who are on Glassdoor, who are on LinkedIn, you actually have access to this and you can make use of this to navigate the job market. We also help you out with a portfolio that proves your work in real projects. And how do we do this? We do this by teaching you the best formats. And more importantly, we help you with projects that can amplify your visibility. So for some people, they already have the skills, they have the talents, but they don't have real world projects to back it up. For example, we've already gone through Hope's story. Hope was just like that. And nobody is going to hire you if you cannot prove that you've done something like this before. That's how tough and competitive the market really is. I know that a lot of times on Twitter, in corporate ecosystems, people joke a lot about roles that are for interns wanting some kind of experience. But it's a joke, we can laugh about it, but it really is a thing. So even though you are coming in as an intern, people want you to still be able to show that you have the skills, you've actually done something like this before, and what you just need is to be able to learn and step it up. But again, like I mentioned just back in the package section earlier, it's all about how you position yourself in the market. We've had people who have come in and instead of just going straight for the internship, they went straight for senior roles. Now, part of the things that we do to help you position yourself is that we put you through interview prep sessions. And this happens so you don't freeze when the call finally comes in. A lot of times you get into interviews for high impact roles and you've got like 6 people, 7 people on the call. And then, if you've never been in that high stress situation before, you have no idea how to manage it. And I'm telling you guys, again, this is something that if you learned with Udemy, if you learned with Coursera, you would never go through this process. This is a 100% proven process that can get you from, oh, I'm looking for a job in tech to, oh, I got hired in under 6 months. Right? So communication looks easy when you are not the one doing it, right? Like right now, I'm talking to you guys and you think I'm not shy, right? I'm also shy as well. And that is why we like to put people through the ringer just to show them that you can do this, it is possible. But like they say, practice makes perfect. So let me put this into perspective for you. It's like when you watch a video of someone dancing and you think, hey, I can do that, but when you stand up and you dance, it's a tragedy to watch unfold. So like I said, practice makes perfect, which is why we hold interview prep sessions to help our learners prep for the questions that they might possibly be asked. And more importantly, your confidence. If you can confidently communicate, people will want to listen to what you have to say. Now, another thing is job reference, right? Just like Judith, whose story I shared earlier, Judith got a job and Judith had to reach out for a job reference. So you can list you can list 10 analytics on your profile. I know some people lie sometimes and they list jobs that they haven't worked on before. I have a friend who, when I say someone is very bold, and very audacious, he actually listed companies that he had never worked in on his profile before, and then he was able to get these people to give him references. Maybe in another session, I will share a story on how this happens, but we don't have a lot of time, so we have to keep it moving. So again, guys, you can always get help from 10 Analytics. Once you get a job and you need job reference, just reach out to us. Either Chukwuemeka, the CEO, or myself or Adeza will be on call to sing praises about just how amazing you were at 10 Analytics. Now, also, we also provide you with on-the-job support. A perfect example of this is one of our learners who got a job as a HR in a global company. I don't want to mention her name because she's requested to stay anonymous, but she requested for help with the workday configuration. And we had to provide that support to her. We had to look into how do we get her a consultant who can walk her through it. And we were able to get an in-house person, and we dealt that with this person. So this is also proof that even when you get a support, even when you get the job, you have left the 10 analytics ecosystem. Now you are actually doing the job that you trained for, the job that you prayed for. You can always reach back to us and say, hey guys, I need support. I'm trying to deal this stuff. It's not working. And one of our professionals, one of our coaches will be available to help you out, to jump on a call with you and resolve that. Where else are you going to get this, guys? So another thing that we also do is weekly mentorship. Like I mentioned before, we are aggressive when it comes to community. We believe 100% that nobody, not a single person, walks alone. And in order for you to be successful in the tech world, you need mentors, which is why we have weekly mentorship sessions to keep you updated, to keep you on the game, to keep you connected with people who can answer your questions, with people who can provide support to you. Now, another thing that we also do is Upwork optimization. And that is because, while you're looking for a job, while you're looking for that big job with the big pay that we have seen, you can also do these jobs just to earn a few dollars on the side while you are getting ready. Now, let's break down our learning model, right? If you decide that you want to take this journey with 10 Analytics, your journey is going to last for a period of 6 months in total, even though our program is for 8 months. Now, 6 months, you're going to be working or learning rather with 10 Analytics, and this is where you learn all of the skills that are required for you to excel in your role and to get a job. And then you move to Diary, which is a sister company of 10 Analytics, where you now hold 2 month internship program. Now, during your 2 month internship program, you are going to work on real world projects, and this is where you get to build your portfolio. This is where you get to put the things, the products in your portfolio that make you look amazing to recruiters. So altogether, this equals 8 months of learning. Now, another thing that is really fantastic about this is that you can put 10 analytics once you start on your profile on LinkedIn, and then you can also list yourself as a consultant as well in Amdari during your internship. And this is amazing because 10 Analytics is registered and operates from Canada. And then we also have Amdari as well that is registered and operates from the UK. So what this means is that you came into the tech world. Let's say you don't have any experience. You came into the tech world, you had no background whatsoever in tech, and now in a couple of months, you have worked in a Canadian company, you have worked in a UK company. So now that I'm putting this into perspective, guys, can you see how amazing this would look for your career and how game-changing this could be? So moving on, finally, apply like a machine. However, always with precision. Now, this is the part that most people get wrong, right? They send out 100 generic applications and they wonder, why is nobody calling me back, right? Or they apply maybe once a week and they expect that they are going to get callbacks. On average, you need to apply to about 100 jobs before you get one interview. So imagine how long it's going to take if you're submitting 7 applications a week. It simply means that you're not ready to step up. I mean, I've spoken to a couple of people and coached some people who would say things like, it's so tiring, Lola. How am I supposed to apply for these jobs? I have to apply for 10 applications a day. And you might think, especially for the serial job applicators here, that 10 applications a day is not a big deal, but trust me, it is. When you are optimizing for quality, it quickly becomes a thing, especially when you have to optimize your resume to be a fit for that job that you are applying to. One philosophy that we have, one principle that we have rather in 10 Analytics is that you never reuse a CV when you are applying to job. I think I've mentioned this before, guys. You cannot use a CV that you used to apply back then to maybe Walmart when you were out of options. You can't be using that to apply to a job in Amazon. You cannot be using that to apply to a job in Google. You're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And like I said before, every year we get a new batch of people who are coming into the job market. Every year we're seeing things like layoffs, this is happening, this is changing the industry. Oh, AI is taking people jobs. If you do not innovate, you will never be able to grow. You're going to be stuck in the same place, which is why it's important that you never apply to jobs using the same resume. So what we do is we build a world standard CV for you, like I've mentioned, and then we're going to show you how you can tailor these job applications that you send out. So we always advise people again that it is very important that you target nothing less than 10 quality applications per day so that you're not wasting your time with 50 low effort ones that will not give you the results that you're looking for. So again, you cannot be looking for remote roles in 2025 and you're busy applying on the same platforms that everybody is applying on. Now, when I say the same platforms, we know what I'm talking about, guys. I'm talking about LinkedIn, Indeed. Even those jobs, when you click on LinkedIn, you see 100 people have applied, right? And I want to burst your bubbles. A lot of those jobs are actually ghost jobs. So you can actually look it up on Google and figure out what a ghost job is. That's what companies use to just signal to their investors that they're doing well, all is good, we're applying for roles. But the reality is that if they're not just ghost roles for positioning, they are just using that to collect your data and to feed their AI system. That's not to say that all of those jobs that you see on LinkedIn, on Indeed, and the rest of them are all ghost jobs. But after a while, especially when you really get into tech, you're going to learn how to tell those jobs apart. But this is also part of why what we do at 10 Analytics is that we partner with private job boards and we pay them to ensure that we get access to jobs that are not publicly listed or jobs that you wouldn't find if you don't have access to these sites. And these are also jobs that can also give you that are eligible for visa sponsorship. For these are also jobs that can also get your visa sponsored, etc. So you only get access to this again, guys, if you decide to join 10 Analytics. What we do is that every week we scrape the job board and we vet the listed jobs, just to be sure that these are jobs that you can apply to. And sometimes, again, I've mentioned this before, you can see roles that have a different title, but at its core, it's really something that you probably already do. So maybe it's something that is like operations process automation specialist, for example. A business analyst can certainly apply for that, So you may not know this and you would scroll past these jobs if you were doing this without support. But we make this process easier for you by scraping these job boards and highlighting the ones that would be a good fit for the people in our community. And we send this to you every single week. So this way, you're not just tapping into paid job boards and getting access to roles that a lot of people do not have access to. You're also tapping into referral networks, into a hidden job market that a lot of people don't even know exists. And when you pair that with everything else, you are prepared to excel. Now, we all in our mentorship sessions, part of what you're going to learn is, how you can apply to jobs and get noticed. You're going to learn things like, there's this research that was done one time for the ladies on the call. They found out that a lot of women are less likely, actually, I think it was about 50% less likely, or maybe even less, I don't remember the exact statistics, to apply for jobs if they do not meet 100% of the requirements. A lot of us do this in our heads. We think, oh, if I do not meet all of these job requirements, then, I don't want to apply. But this is part of, if you pair all of these things that I have mentioned together, and you are also audacious in the way you apply, so long as you are positioned well, so long as you have packaged yourself well, so long as you have the confidence to talk about the things that you have done, so long as you have the data to back it up. You never know. We've also had people in 10 analytics who have gone for roles that they were not applied for. I've been mentioning that we have people who were supposed to become interns, but then they applied for senior roles and they actually got those jobs. So don't be afraid to position yourself out there and take a chance on yourself. So let's put it all together, right? You have learn, you have package, you apply. And what you've got is not just training. You've got a system that builds the exact experience that hiring managers are looking for and that backs it up with proof. So let me know in the chat, guys, which part of this system do you think you've been missing? Is it the learning? Is it the packaging? Or is it the applying, right? So just drop in the chat, which part of this system have you been missing? Okay, I see some questions in the chat section. Don't worry about that, guys. We're going to get to it at the end. Okay, I can see that Sir Mura is saying that he's been missing everything. Okay, we have someone who is saying blessing, packaging, and applying. Okay, we have a phone number here that is saying everything, learning and packaging. We have Desiree who is saying, I'm only missing the portfolio. Okay, fantastic, guys. So what I really like about this is that we've been able to say, this is where we are having a problem, and this is where we are going to need support. That is fantastic. It means that we are engaged. It means that we are ready to move forward to the next step. Okay, so just so we keep this in our minds, it's learn, package, and apply. Together, all of this will give you the tools, the results that you are looking for. Now, we've got some really amazing stories that I would love to share with you. And we're going to come back and talk more about this, about some of our testimonials. But I know that you guys have already given me a lot of your time. So I'm just going to try and save us some time here before we come back and take a look at all of these amazing testimonies that people have shared during their time with, about their time with 10 Analytics. So let's talk about all the things that you're going to learn, or the specific courses that you might probably decide to go for if you join 10 Analytics. Now, for business analysis, you're going to learn how you can work with both technical and business teams to define problems, to write requirements, and to guide product success. So you're going to master tools like Jira, tools like Confluence. You're going to master tools like Excel, like SQL for data interpretation, like Trello. You're going to be using this for task management. And I want you to keep something in mind. Some of the tools that you are going to need are not listed here, or that your company uses is not listed here, right? But for example, if you have used Asana before, you're going to understand what I'm saying. If you've used Asana and you go and check out Monday, you go and check out ClickUp, they all follow the same logic. So what we have done is that we have taken some of the most popular ones in their category and we have highlighted them here, and this is what we're going to be teaching you. So if you now go to a company where they use a completely different system, it's still the same framework, it's just a different label that is slapped on it. So as an agile project manager, you're going to be learning things like how to lead tech projects using agile methods. We've discussed this in detail prior. You're going to ensure, as an agile project manager, that deliverables are met quickly, that they are met efficiently, and that user feedback is taken at every step. The tools that you're going to master includes things like Jira. You're going to be using Jira for backlogs, for sprint planning. You're going to be using Confluence for documentation, for collaboration, and to track your tasks as well. And again, you're going to be using Trello to create things like visual boards that would be useful for you. Okay, so we also have classes, live classes on Saturdays. We have 2 sets of live classes, and depending on where you are in the EU, in UK, or in Africa, we just use the 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and you can convert that to your time zone and see what time our live classes happen. So on Saturday, you can either join the morning session or you can join the evening session, whichever one works for you. Our live classes are also recorded. So maybe if something happened and you could not make it, you can also watch a recording just to see a recap. So we also offer, like I mentioned before, self-paced videos, and you can learn how to do this yourself. Okay, so now the next one is data engineering, right? And for data engineering, what we teach you is SQL, we teach you Python programming, we teach you the Apache Spark, we teach you how to use ChatGPT and apply that to your work. So you're going to see something consistently as we move on, right? You're going to see ChatGPT listed in every one of these roles. And that is because AI is fundamental today in whatever it is that you're doing. It is important that you learn how to apply AI to streamline your workflow and your processes so you can deliver fast, but more importantly, so you can stay on top of the trends. Like I mentioned, the industry, the tech industry is constantly growing, it's constantly evolving. That's why we're also including AI in all of this to teach our students how they can apply this to what they do. Now, for data scientists, we're going to be teaching you things like Microsoft Excel. We're going to be teaching you how to use Tableau for data analytics. We're going to be teaching you Python, computer vision, GitHub, ChatGPT, and GitHub Copilot, etc. And there are a lot of tools that you're going to need for this, like Tableau, SQL, Excel, and again, ChatGPT. Another occurrence that you might be seeing here is that you're seeing Excel in many places, right? And that's because just like today, you have to learn how you can apply ChatGPT to what you're doing. That is the same way you also have to learn how to apply Excel. And these are things that I would call transferable skills, right? There's literally a job for people who know how to use prompt engineering. These are people who know how to use AI so well that they are able to impute prompts that are very specific, prompts that the AI is able to understand, quickly filter, and generate outputs that are quality, 100% quality. So this is actually a job. And that is why today it is very important that you're not passive about learning how to use AI or how to apply that in your role, but you're very deliberate and very conscious about it. So as a data analyst, you're going to be learning things like problem solving. We're going to be teaching you how you can use data to tell a story using tools like Excel, using SQL, using Power BI, using Tableau, and the rest. Moving on, again, the same logic applies for classes. We have them at the same time for all cohorts. Now, as a financial analyst, what you're going to learn is how you can break down financial data, expenses, forecasts, revenue, etc., and then take that data and turn it into actionable insights that actually drives strategy. Companies are going to pay you for things like creating accurate budget models, for forecasting profit or loss, for analyzing trends and minimizing risks. So this is a very amazing career path for you to get into. Now, the tools that you're going to have to master for this include Excel, Power BI, SQL, etc. Now, moving on to HR analyst, right? Part of what we're going to teach you in the HR analyst program is problem solving. Problem solving is very important because with problem solving skills, you can take data and transform that into a story, just like data analysts do. You can look at your performance data, you can look at your hiring data, your engagement data, and use the information that you get from that to drive strategies that actually improves business outcome, specifically in the HR direction. So companies are going to pay you in this career path for different things like reducing their turnover, for forecasting their hiring needs, and for improving the ROI of their employee engagement. Now, the tools you're going to have to master for this includes things like Excel. You're going to use Excel for modeling, for tracking. You're going to learn Power BI for dashboarding, workforce insights. You're going to learn SQL for querying HR databases. You're going to learn things like engagement frameworks, sentiment analysis. It's amazing, guys. So if you're interested in becoming a HR analyst, you absolutely have to be here. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. And like I mentioned before, I'm sure you probably must have noticed, I'm very passionate about cybersecurity specifically because this is how you detect, analyze, and stop digital threats. Cybersecurity experts are the ones that keep our digital information safe. They protect sensitive data and business operations from breaches. So all of these big companies that you can think of, like Netflix, like Google and the rest, their user data would not be safe if not for cybersecurity experts. And like I mentioned, this is one of the most respected career paths that you could get into in 2025. Companies are going to pay you to secure their networks, their systems, and their devices. They are going to pay you to prevent data breaches and cyber attacks. And they're also going to pay you to ensure compliance with global security standards. Now, part of the tools that you're going to be learning for this includes tools like Splunk. You're going to be learning tools like Kali, etc., Microsoft Defender, and the rest. So let me give you a real world example to stress just how important a cybersecurity expert is in today's world, just to put things into context for you. Some of you here, I don't know if you know Ashley Madison. So some of you might know Ashley Madison, some of you might not. But if you know Ashley Madison, please type a yes in the chat box. If you know the story of Ashley Madison, type a yes in the chat box. If you do not, type a no. Let's see how many people know the story of Ashley Madison. If you know the story, okay, I can see that Foma said no. Okay, Blessing said no. iPhone said no. Okay, so I'm actually excited to be the first person to tell you the story of Ashley Madison. Now, you can always look this up on Wikipedia, but it was a very popular dating site. You know, this was back in before 2015. And what happened was that 37 million users' private data was leaked in what is one of the biggest data breaches of our century today. This happened in 2015, and I'm talking names, email addresses, even credit card details were made public. The fallout from that was devastating. There were lawsuits worth over $11 million. There were actually multiple suicides reported to the breach, very sad. There were careers that were destroyed, public humiliation, and a total loss of trust in the brand, which eventually led to their decline. This was a massive failure in security, and it nearly destroyed everyone that was tied to the platform. So that is my point. A role like cybersecurity analyst is not optional. It protects real people. It's about preventing disasters. It's about protecting trust, and it's about safeguarding livelihoods. And again, this is what makes cybersecurity analysts some of the most valuable and respected people in tech today. So just to go over our live class schedules again, we have two sets of classes in the morning. We have 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and you can convert this into your time zone in EU, in UK, and in Africa. And in the evening, we have them at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. And again, you can also convert this to your time zone. So you just join the one that works for you. But like I said before, if you do miss it, you can always catch up because all sessions are recorded. So our learning timeline is a total of 8 months. 6 months you learn in class, and 2 months you spend with Amdari, where you get into real world projects. Okay, so if you are still here, then I know that you're very serious about taking this to the next step, right? So let's talk about how you can actually get started. Our next cohort is actually starting on the 8th of August. So if this is something that you want to get into, this is the perfect time for you to get in. It's genuinely the best time because we're also giving everyone who attended this session a 20% discount of any of our 8 core programs, from business analysis to agile projects manager to data engineering, etc. You get a 20% discount if you sign up and lock your spot now. Normally, the program actually costs $900, but if you act now, you only get to pay $750. And here's the amazing part, guys. You do not have to pay this at once. So you can actually choose to pay this in installments. You can choose to pay $150 monthly for the next 5 months. We have made this as accessible as possible so that even though you say, oh, I can't afford, $750 at a go, but I'm ready to lock down my spot, how do I do that? Right. So once you are ready to make your payment, you come to our main stack page. I just want to quickly walk you guys through what that looks like. You come to our main stack page and then you select the course that you are interested in. So if you want to pay for business analysis, if you want to pay for the agile projects in Scrum Master or cybersecurity, you can come here and register for whichever one you're interested in. Another thing, for those of us who took the quiz, when you are suggested a course and you believe that it is the perfect fit for you, you can just click on the button for you to step into it. I believe, okay, yeah, you click on this button for you to step into it and it leads you to that page on MainStack for you to make your payment. Now, once you select the course that you are interested in, let's say you select business analysis, for example, it leads you to a page that looks just like this. And depending on what country you're in, you're going to be able to select that. So if you're in the US, if you are in Canada, if you are in the UK, you can select the currency that you would like to pay with. So you're going to come here and you can see that we only have 13 seats available for the business analysis course. So it would be fantastic if you could secure your spot ASAP. Now, if you make a one-time payment, you get to pay just $700, right? One-time payment, and you get an additional 50% discount. You also get that $50 discount rather. You also get that $50 discount if you choose to pay in 2 monthly installments. So you pay $350 first and then you pay another $350, which equals $700. Now you can also choose to break down your payments into 3 monthly payments, 4 monthly payments, or 5 monthly payments. And don't worry about it, guys. You can still lock down the discount so long as you secure your spot now. So if you click on the button for secure your seat, you can see here that your payment structure is laid out for you. So you can see this is what you have due today, for example, $150. And then by August 12th, there's another $150 due all the way to November 12th. So this is your payment structure, and it just allows you to see just how long you're going to pay $150 for. Now, if you're ready to check out, you can come here and fill out your details. You're going to start with your name. You're going to input your email address. You're also going to input your phone number as well. Now, one thing I would like you to keep in mind, for those of us who have multiple email addresses, it would be great if you could fill in your main email address here, because this is where the registration form for you to complete your sign up will be sent to. So you want to ensure that you can always access this email. So you come here, you fill in your email address, you fill in your phone number, and then you proceed. So when you go to the next page, you're going to select your payment method, and that is where you can now pay for your course, and then you're going to get a detailed detailed form in your mail for you to fill. So this is what it's going to look like. This is the August 2025 cohort participants registration form, and this is where we collect your data. Now you're going to go, when you start to fill this form, if you still have some doubts about the course that you have chosen, you come here and you say you want to speak to a professional. So that is still allowed. So I'm just walking you guys through. So you see here that you can select what type of payment you have made, and you come to the next page, and you can see here that this is an 8 month plan. So we just give you more information just so you have that while you are proceeding. Now, another thing that I want you guys to keep in mind and also look out for is that we are doing a complete revamp of this process. If there's one thing that we believe in 10 Analytics, it's constant innovation and constant growth. And over the years, we have gathered a lot of data that has positioned us to scale our operations and make it way more efficient. So for those of us who might come here and see a new update when you're paying, just look out for that update. I'm very sure that you guys are going to witness it soon. It's going to be really amazing. So you come here and you fill your participants registration form, you fill in your details. And again, this is why I mentioned that the email address that you registered with is very, very important. You don't want to use one that your email, that your form is sent to, and then another one to register. It's best to just keep everything in one email address as well. So once you are done filling this form, then you're going to get, if you still require some more information, you still have some questions that you would like to ask, you can always select that you would like to talk to someone, and you can schedule a call with our Clarity support team, and our professionals will be available to walk you through your options. So I want to stress at this point again, guys, that you are not alone. 10 Analytics is taking this step with you, or with you every step of the way. So if at any point you need support, please feel free to reach out to the Clarity support group, or even when you're in the cohort, you can always reach out to your facilitator if you need support. Now, if you also make your first installment within the next 24 hours, another thing that you're going to have access to is the Amdari Vault. Now, what is the Amdari Vault all about? You get 250 guided projects that you can work on. Remember that we have stressed about the importance of you building a portfolio, of you ensuring that you're not only able to talk about it, but you can actually show it. So this is beyond, talking the talk, but being able to walk the talk. And that is what Amdari's Vault is going to give you, the ability to work on projects and add those projects to your portfolio that can help you stand out. So if you are ready to make payments, if you are sure that this is what you want and you are ready to lock down, and you do that within the next 24 hours, this is also another offering that we're also giving you to sweeten the deal as well. So this is for the first 20 people who register. So I want you to remember, guys, when we look at the business analysis program, we only had like 13 seats left. So it is important for you to lock down your space. Okay, so now 10 Analytics also got into, just a minute, the Alberta program as well. And you can see a breakdown of this. Don't worry, we're going to share this slide with you. Just fill the form that my colleagues are dropping in the comment section, and you're going to get access to this slide. So you can check out the article on Tech Cabal and read in detail on how we got into the Alberta catalyzer and the impacts that we're also bringing to the Black community. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of testimonials, and if you go on YouTube, you're going to find so many testimonials, and these are real people with real outcomes. You can always reach out to them on LinkedIn and say, hey, I saw you on 10 Analytics YouTube page, and I would love to know more about your time learning with 10 Analytics. They are not paid, they are not influencers, they are people who have used our three-pronged approach, which is learn, package, and apply, and they have been able to get fantastic results with it as well. Now, 10 Analytics is also accredited, and you can view our accreditation here by the ACDT TD. And again, this is also something that you're going to get if you fill the form and you get access to this, right? So just before we round up and I take any questions that you have, I'm going to give one person the opportunity to unmute their mic and to ask a question. I'm just going to walk us through one one more testimonial as well, just so you can see what it looks like when you join the 10 analytics train. So this is a WhatsApp chat with a learner who is called Fola. Now, Fola joined the business analysis program. She joined it in February 2024 and she completed it in May 2025, and she was able to get a job as a business analyst with the government with the government in Canada. And this is Fola's chat here where she's just really excited about it. You can see here, this gladdens my heart. And I got the job, the contract was signed yesterday. So we get a lot of success stories like this. Just the other day we got a voice note of someone who was really excited, and she was very thankful to one of our amazing facilitators here at 10 Analytics for taking her hand and walking her through the process even when she was unsure. So this could be you next, guys. You could be one of those people who share amazing stories like Abigail, who was a care worker and she joined our business analysis program. And then she was able to secure a job with the government of Alberta, Canada. Okay, I can see that we've got two hands up. I will be coming to you shortly. Okay, so again, guys, all of this is amazing, and this could be you. All of these are real people. You can reach out to them on LinkedIn, and I don't want you to think that whatever background it is that you have, that it is a blocker, that you have to work in tech for you to be able to do this, for you to be able to accomplish something like this. You do not. Even though you started today, this could be you sharing your success story and how 10 Analytics has changed the game for you. Okay, so I'm just going to let me see some of the questions that we have here. Okay, I see that we have a hand that is raised. Okay, Desiree Salvant, I see your hand is raised. I guess you have a question for us. Do you want to unmute your mic and speak?
Sure. Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, I can hear you.
Hi, Lola. I'm Desiree. You can call me Desi if you would like for short. Um, the one question I have, I'm already into analytics and it's wonderful, you all. It's very wonderful. It's a lot of teaching. Our live instructor, Akuna, she's so excellent. Oh my goodness. Um, I'm in full stack data science. I've done a lot of things. I have optimized my LinkedIn. I just turned in the resume, so we'll see what they say about that. I'm waiting on that. Um, I have been posting. I've been doing the challenge for posting more on LinkedIn, and I hate social media, so I'm definitely stepping out of my comfort zone with that. I do want to do the portfolio. I do. I watched the GitHub video and I've been saying it in all the meetings, but I do think I may need a live hold my hand with it for GitHub because I do have some things that I can post to it, but I can't figure it out. So can that be arranged for something to happen for us for there to be like a live session for that?
Okay. All right. So if I understand your question, Desiree, you're saying that you need support for creating your portfolio. You've already optimized your LinkedIn and you have submitted your resume, correct? You can unmute your mic and speak, Desiree. You're muted.
Oh yes, I have did all of those things and yes, you're correct. I do need
Mhm.
further support with GitHub. I was going to try something other than GitHub, but I really didn't want to because it's like the standard for data portfolios. So I really wanted to learn and be able to create the GitHub.
Mhm.
so that I can post the projects and things like that. We are going to be going into sequel this coming week, so I really want to start applying for some jobs after we complete the sequel. So I would really appreciate if you guys can give some support with the GitHub.
Okay. Okay, that's fantastic. We can definitely do that. Although we do have videos that we have created that's a very amazing resource that can help you do something like this. But if you do need extra support, like I mentioned before, that's certainly something that we can provide you. Your portfolio is a critical piece of your visibility and your positioning, especially in your line. So we're going to take that very seriously. My colleagues are going to take down your name and are going to look into how we can provide you with that hands-on support that you need in order to create your portfolio to help you stand out in the job market. So thank you very much for pointing that out to Zeri. I hope that we've been able to answer your question and solve your problem, right? At least for now. Once
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Lola. I appreciate you.
Fantastic, fantastic. So my colleagues are going to take down your name and they are going to reach out to you. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly look through the chat section here and look into, okay, okay. Paul Chidi, I can see that your mic is unmuted. Do you want to take a question? Okay, fantastic. All right, so I'm just going to look through the chat section here. If you have a question that you need me to answer, you can drop it here. Okay, this is from Solomon. Aside from this, thank you for this wonderful session. Please, aside this 20% discount, is there any other funding discount I can look out to? I have been following you up for some time and I really wish that I could start, but I've barely been able to raise 60% of this cost, and it's becoming more challenging, and I do not want to give up. Okay, Solomon, I am really, really sorry about the issue that you're experiencing regarding raising the cost. And this is also part of what we looked into. We had a lot of reports like this from people who said, I really want to take this course with 10 analytics. I'm very interested in it, but it's very expensive for me. Can you provide me with support? And that is why we decided to set up a discount structure of 20% and why we also added an extra 50% for people who can make the one-time payment as well. So we know that it's not easy. We're very aware of the challenges in the job market and how difficult it is for people to give us their money and say, oh, I'm going to wait for the next couple of months before I get the ROI, which is me getting a job. And that is why we have discounted the prices. Now, I can't say for now that we would be able to look into anything else on this because, again, this is a business and we do have to run. We have to pay our business costs. For those of us who are business analysts on the call, I'm sure you can understand and you can share the sentiments when we say that a business does need to run. So, but this is something that you can be on the lookout for. There's no telling when and if we're going to be coming up with a promo or a discount. But the last time we had the IWD and the 10 analytics program was heavily discounted. So maybe if you want to wait for that, but really there's no saying when or telling when that is going to be. So once again, I empathize with your situation, Giwa. Okay, so I can see Daniel. Hi, Lola. Can you have a quick chat about financial analysts? What's the job market like for that in the UK, especially online? I currently work as a carer. It is amazing that you're looking into getting into the financial analyst role. It's a very lucrative path where you can work on budgets and forecasts, but focusing on the financial industry and helping businesses optimize their financial processes in the UK. We touched a bit on what financial analysts earn in the UK, in US, and in Canada. So just one thing, Daniel, if you have not filled out the form yet, please do so you can ensure that you do get access to this resource that we use for this masterclass. And you can read about this in detail, but the job market, especially in the UK, in the US, and in Canada, is explosive when it comes to all of these roles that we have mentioned. There's no way at 10 Analytics that we would be presenting a career path to you that is not in high demand in the UK, in US, and in Canada. So for a financial analyst in the UK, on average, you're earning about 40K and above. But again, like I mentioned before, we have people who have passed through this market and they have been able to position themselves and say you're coming in at a higher level, even though they just learned whatever it is that they learned, business analysis, agile projects managers, even though they just learned that, because of the way they positioned and packaged themselves in the market, they were able to get access to senior roles and even break past our benchmarks. So it's really all about you. The opportunity is there if you can take advantage of it with both hands. And I will tell you this, even though we have these figures and we say that, oh, this is what you can earn in the UK, this is what you can earn in Canada. Again, these figures are just baselines, right? These are just benchmarks. What depends what you are going to earn is how well you can negotiate, how well you can package yourself and position yourself in today's job market. Okay, I can see Samsung is saying the payment plan is a really good idea and very helpful. Thank you very much. Like I mentioned, we did take this into consideration, which is why we developed different levels for a discount. Okay, I can see a question from Aurel Lua. I currently work as an accountant in a bank in Nigeria and want to change my career path to projects management. I would love a remote job. How feasible is this for me when I save up for the program? I'm going to tell you, Aurel Lua, you already have a fantastic transferable skill, which is your knowledge in finance. This is going to be a game changer for you as a project manager. You know, I mentioned before that there is no skill that is wasted when you pivot into tech. So even though you are an accountant and now you're looking to get into project management, it means that when your other project managers who do not have the same background that you have in financial analysis, in finance, are presenting their budgets, and you who have a very strong understanding of the market, you're presenting your budget, there's going to be a huge difference. This transferable skill or your background in accounting makes you a valuable asset for any company that you choose to work in as a project manager. So I think it is a fantastic move for you to make. And the best thing about this again is whether you're in Africa, you can get a job in the UK, in the US, in Canada, in any country of your choice. So long again, guys, as you practice and apply the learn, package, and apply model. If you can apply this to your career, if you can apply this in your job search, if you can apply this model repeatedly and consistently, you are going to get the results that you are looking for. I can see that Bami is asking a question, how possible is it to get a data analyst role in Canada? 100% possible. Like I said before, we do not offer any roles here that would not get you a job in Canada, in the UK, in the US. Every single role that we have presented to you or that we offer at 10 Analytics is based off data. We're a data and strategy company. So we review different data and then we aggregate them like the World Economic Forum. We scrape job boards, and then we also look at visa requirements for the UK, for the US, and in Canada. And then we put all of this data together. And what it gets us, what that data is telling us is that if you focus on these 8 career paths that we have shared with you, Agile Project Manager, and Scrum Master, data scientist, etc., that you are going to get fantastic results. So it doesn't matter what part of the world that you are in, even better if you are in Canada, this is not a blocker for you. Okay, so Bami is saying that I have applied. I'm just going to take one more question, guys, since we've come to the end of this session. Bami is saying that I have applied to over 300 DA roles, but I have not been successful. So my question for you, Bami, is that have you religiously applied the learn, the package, and the apply model in your job search. So it's not enough for you to just apply to jobs. You also have to ensure that you're applying to quality jobs. And this is part of why at 10 Analytics, like I mentioned before, we partner with private job boards so that we can give you access to jobs that have very low competition. So if you're applying for jobs with people that are on Indeed, people that are on Glassdoor, people that are on LinkedIn, by the time you click on it, you're seeing over 100 applications. Of what chance do you have to get through that system? It can be so difficult when the competition is very high, because we have a lot of amazing gifted and skilled people who are looking for jobs today. And for many of them, what they are missing is this model, this three-pronged approach that I have broken down for you in this meeting. So Bami, I want you to fill the form that my colleagues are sharing in the comment section, and then take a look at how you can apply this model, the learn, package, and apply model, to your career. And I'm very sure it's going to give you fantastic results. But again, guys, always remember that consistency is very important. You have to be consistent so that you can get the results that you are looking for. Don't apply for 1 week, 2 weeks, and say, oh, I didn't get anything. Oh, it's too bad. I tried my best and it didn't work out for me. 1 week, 2 weeks, and you are done. These people whose stories that we have shared, they applied for weeks, they applied for months, and then they got their results. So it's very important that you look into that, guys, and you consider that when you're looking to change your career path, that you have to be consistent, consistency above all. So fill the attendance form that my colleague Oyin Damola just dropped in the chat section. Thank you very much, Oyin. And you're going to get access to this resource so that you can take a look at the three-pronged approach that we apply at 10 Analytics, so that you can apply this in your career to get the results that you are looking forward to. Okay, so it's been really amazing. Now that we have come to a close, to an end of this session, I just want to thank every one of you, 101 of you here that have stayed with me until the end of the session. I know that it's not easy to take out an hour, 2 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes, I believe, of your time and spend that with me. So I know that you're very serious about changing your career path, about changing your life. So don't forget, guys, if you're confused about where to start from, you can always take the quiz, and you can figure out where your next starting point is. And if you're ready to make payments, click on main stack and take advantage of the discount. Thank you very much, guys. It's been amazing being your host today. And I look forward to the next session where we get to spend time together. And you know what I even look forward to more? Those of you who are going to be joining the cohorts. I look forward to working with each and every one of you and teaching you just how we do things in 10 Analytics. Please enjoy the rest of your day, or your evening. Thank you very much, guys.